Welcome to the Emergency Management Do One Thing personal video training series. My name is Quentin Graham. As an emergency manager, it is our goal to provide continuous training towards making a disaster resilient installation. What this means is that as an installation team, we respond together to quickly save lives, mitigate the hazard, and return to normal operations. Because we, the installations, are the backbone for the warfighter. This series focuses on completing one thing each month to become more prepared. We use the Do One Thing program. Now, for the next essential topic, your instructor.
Hello everybody, this is Quentin Graham with Do One Thing, and January we're making a plan. And that's small steps to prepare your community for emergencies. So we're going to look at the Do One Thing calendar, and here is January, the first part of the year. And the most important step is making a plan. So again, this is Quentin Graham, your favorite emergency managers, and we're going to discuss small steps can make a difference. Making a plan, this is the first step. So why make a plan? Disasters can change things very rapidly, and when an emergency happens, you may have to decide what to do very quickly while you're worrying about what might happen. You can pretty much agree that disasters don't exactly go with an alarm clock, and they don't exactly send you a calendar invite. By planning ahead, it'll be easier to make the right decisions when the worst happens. So, disasters change things. During an emergency or a disaster, you might not know for sure what is going on. How long will it last? What you should do? What others are going to do? You might not have things that you are used to having, like electricity, ATM machines, gas stations, or even that cell phone that you so admire that you might even be listening to this on. You may not be able to contact family members or friends. With disasters changing things, planning ahead makes it easier for you and members of your family to make the right decisions in an emergency. So, choose one thing to do this month. Learn what disasters can happen in your area, and decide what you will do in a disaster. Take steps now to prevent damage to your home in a disaster. Plan what to do if you have to evacuate. Option 1. Learn what disasters can happen in your area and decide what you will do. For example, California has earthquakes, and we also have wildfires. I like to work with the top two, and those are the top two for my area. Understanding your risk. What can happen in your community? What could happen in your neighborhood? Do I live near an industrial park, a river, lake, or ocean? If I live near a lake, is there a dam that can break and maybe flood where my house is? Are there railroad tracks or highways nearby? Are there large wooded areas that may be subject to fire? Is there a nuclear power plant? Am I within that first initial zone? Are there any steep slopes that we might have mudslides or anything else? Option 2. Take steps now to prevent damage to your home in a disaster. Brace or strap the roof of your home. Now this is a lot more important in a tornado type area or hurricane, because once the tornado or the hurricane actually is able to lift the roof off the home, the rest of it pretty much flattens. So if you can prevent or kind of give yourself extra time of getting that roof to stay on your home, then it gives you extra time to get to safety. Reinforce entry and overhead doors. Remove tree branches that could fall on your home or on power lines. Secure outdoor furniture when a tornado watch is issued. Consider adding a tornado safe room to your home. Flood. Elevate your home so that the lowest floor is 1 foot or more above the base flood elevation. Use flood-resistant materials when you build or remodel. So those type of things that have a mildew resistance to them, use those as a sheetrock or whatever else to help that. Store valuables on upper floors above the base flood elevation. Use native plants and landscaping to reduce stormwater runoff. So for earthquakes, assess your home for structural weaknesses like unreinforced masonry walls or unbraced pier and post foundations, and create a plan or do some mitigation type measures to help fix those. Make sure taller, heavy items in your home are secured with earthquake fasteners, or even just using an L-clip and screwing them to the wall. That helps too. Relocate value items to lower shelves or cabinets with latch doors. That way they don't fall and break when the earth shakes. Wildfire. Remove dead vegetation within 10 feet of your house and avoid placing firewood or propane tanks in that area. Trim back trees that overhang your roof. Prune trees so that there are no branches within 6 to 10 feet of the ground. So that way if the fire goes through, it just kind of stays on the ground and kind of burns off the grasses and stuff. Use fire-resistant plants in landscaping. So if you're in a hurricane area, install hurricane shutters on windows and glass entry doors so you can quickly close them. Seal your roof and protect vents to prevent water from entering your home. Reinforce foundation and roof connections. Reinforce entry and overhead doors. So, about the insurance. Not all damage can be prevented. Having the right insurance is your best bet for getting your home back to normal, or back to at least where you can use it, quickly after a disaster. If you rent, good idea is find out about renter's insurance. So, some hazards aren't covered under most homeowner insurance policies. They have special policies for floods, hurricanes, earthquakes, and landslide. Make sure that you're talking with your insurance agents to see if you're covered under those kind of options. Option 3. Plan what to do if you have to evacuate. Types of evacuation are outside of your house if there's a fire or a gas leak, going outside of your neighborhood if there's a wildfire, gas main break, something that's affecting that whole neighborhood, or something if you have to go outside of your community. Hurricane, hazardous materials spill, train derailment, those kind of things. So with outside of your home, do you have an exit plan? And not just, cute lines that kind of point out windows and say, hey, I'm going to crawl out the window. But also look and see if you have secondary windows and secondary types of things, and kind of put rope ladders or whatever else you need to in those type of areas. Outside of your neighborhood, if the evacuation happens when you're not home, select a meeting place outside of your neighborhood that everyone can go to. Make sure it's familiar, like a relative's house or a restaurant, but make sure it's near public transportation if you have public transportation in your area. Plan to have someone else in the neighborhood evacuate your pets if you're not there. So, outside of your community, find out if your community has designated evacuation routes. And kind of keep in mind that everybody's going to be headed that way also. So, one thing to definitely bring along with you is patience. Always follow emergency instructions. Even if you think you know a better route, planners may have information that you don't, and listen to the radio to see if there's any changes as they're broadcasting them. So, we kind of summarize up with the wonderful part of planning in the month of January. But one thing I definitely need you to remember is that you're the only one that can protect your family in a disaster. Doing one thing a month can make a difference. So, next month, we're talking about water. Whether you live in the country, city, your water supply relies on electricity to run the system. During a power outage, you may find yourself without a way to get water. Water supplies can also become unsafe to drink. Both private wells and city water systems can be contaminated in a disaster. So stay tuned next month to learn more. For more information, my name is Quentin Graham, Sierra Army Depot Emergency Manager. You can also visit the Do One Thing at www.doonething.com, or you can contact them directly, or you can also visit the ready.army.mil website. Thank you, and have a good day.